You guys gotta tell me right now if I need to retire this purple lip gloss, because I'm still not sure about it. It's not even really purple anymore, it's like a light pink. That's what you get for buying Katy Perry Target lip gloss. Anyway, my month has been going swimmingly. Very swimmingly. All I've been doing is working. Which is, I guess, all you can really do before you sink into despair. I've been watching a lot of anime. I've been watching Horimiya. It's so cute. I can't believe I actually ship a straight ship, but I do. It just be like that sometimes. This month has been Wrath month for me in terms of reading books. I've been reading a lot of manga. As I said, I've been in a manga anime mood recently. So I've been reading a lot of manga as usual, but I've also read a lot of books this year. I've read a lot of stuff, surprisingly, so I'm just gonna try and keep everything short. But I am ready for August, whatever it may bring me. And whatever it brings me, I hope it doesn't kick me to the curb and leave me in the gutter. But I got Kageyama in the mail. Yay! So they're together, finally. He's been alone for I don't know how long. So cute. Let's just get started. The first book that I read in the month of July was First Become Ashes by K.M. Spara. This book, I read Docile when it first came out last year, and I was like, yeah, I know what this shit's gonna be about. My favorite book series is Captive Prince, so like, I know what kind of shit I would be expecting with something like Docile, and like, to be honest, like, what happened didn't really surprise me. Well, that's a lie. The last half of it surprised me, because then it turned into like trauma deprogramming, and then I finished it and I was like, huh, I don't know if I like that. So I gave it 3 stars. Then I was like, oh, K.M. Spara's next book is coming out and it's about a cult. Well, let's just see what this is about. Finally, I got to get my hands on it earlier this month, and I read it, and I mean, I've watched and read reviews about it before I got to reading it, and I still read it because I wanted to see what my opinion would be on it. And I gave it a 2 stars. Because I have no idea what was going on. So the book follows a young man named Lark who has been in a cult all his life. And so he believes all of the cult's teachings, which include the fact that magic exists and monsters exist, and that he's been trained to be a warrior to fight monsters and save humanity. This turns out to be all false, I put in quotation marks, when his partner, God, what was his name? The only Asian guy. Kane? It was Kane, I think. The only Asian guy. Goes to the FBI and shuts down the cult. Lark escapes and proceeds to meet this guy, Calvin, who enables his harmful behavior so that he can get a confirmation bias that there is some sort of magic in the world, which was very painful and awkward to read. And then Lark somehow uses magic and fights a monster. Same. That guy just like was yelling and groaning in pain outside the window. That's exactly the same as how I feel. Basically, this book was a whole journey, a whole face journey for me, where I was like, you know, I just didn't understand what was going on. I read it because I wanted to like figure it out, see if it would give me maybe some sort of clue, because like the thing that I read in a bunch of the reviews that I read was that people just don't get it, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe I will get it, because I mean, I have a degree in creative writing. Not implying that any of those reviewers are stupid. I'm just saying maybe I'll figure it out. I did not figure it out. I could not figure it out. Does the magic exist or not? Because this isn't something that just, you know, like I think you can leave ambiguous like this. I mean, like, definitely there's some stuff, oh, there's like some sort of inherent magic in the world. But it's like, there is some, but like, it's not, like this thing where they have like spells and like, oh, pain is what unlocks the spells and unlocks the magic. But you know, like if the magic is real, then like the thing with the pain and like the painful and self-harming behavior, it just takes on a completely different context rather than just this magic being a metaphor for controlling, using it to control people, to control their bodies and their self-harming behaviors. Because if the magic was real, then the pain leads somewhere, but if it's not real and then their pain is just being led nowhere, I'm just, ooh, what is this? It's like a loop-de-loop, like, is the oh my god, is the magic real or not? Because if the magic was left ambiguous, I think, but the thing is, it is left ambiguous, but it's not left ambiguous in a way where I can say, oh, the magic was a metaphor all this time for the inherent beauty of humanity and the way we can all work together with each other and with nature. It's just not working like that, because sometimes he heals himself and sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes he walks through a fence and sometimes he doesn't. So there was a monster, but was the monster a metaphor? Gosh, I don't know if metaphors can rise out of the concrete, literally, and then be captured on social media or whatever. You guys just have to read this book to figure out half the shit that I'm talking about, because I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know what's happening in this book. Was the magic real or not? Because I don't know what it's saying about trauma. I mean, like, there was this really touching scene at the end where like they destroy the tools of their trauma, and it was really touching. But then here I am, I'm like, ooh, is the magic real? Because damn, if it was, then like, shit, maybe that cult leader got a point. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. The thing with ambiguous endings is that they just don't always work. I feel like the only ambiguous endings that I think have worked for me are like Studio Ghibli movies. And at the very least, like, you kind of know the rules of the world. The only thing that's left ambiguous is like the fate of the characters after the event has happened. Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away, like that, those are ambiguous endings that I think work. At the very least, they don't tell you whether or not magic is real, because it is. Like, they don't leave like the rules of their world left ambiguously, you know? So that was First Become Ashes. I'm in a rambly mess, and if I spend any more time on it, then it'll be like Sisyphus and I will never find an answer. So do with this review what you will. Moving on. The next book that I read, and I didn't take 6 months to finish, is the 6th book in the Nightrunner series, The White Road by Lynn Fueling. If you watched my previous video, it took me like 6 months to finish book 5 because there was a lot of content warnings for slavery, torture, capture, kidnapping, improper use of body parts for alchemy, shit like that. So we continue their story in The White Road, in which some people are like, hey, that child, Sabran, who has lots of unforeseen power in which they can heal and destroy, you can't have that. And then Sergil and Alec are like, excuse me, he's my child, you can't take him away from me. And then they're like, okay, well, let's work together to destroy the books that created him so that no one else can use the power to create more people. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then anyway, so that's basically what happens. I'm not going to say the rest because the rest are spoilers, but the ending, though, made me cry like a little kid. I love this book so much. I love Sabran so much because he is just a sweet child, and I love him, and I would die for him, and he eats too much, and I love that for him. Anyway, I'm just going to keep this one short because, like, I've talked about the Nightrunner series a lot. I'm on the 6th book. There are 2 more books. Yep, 2 more books left in the series that I have to read. If you want me to make a video about the Nightrunner series when I finish it, then, like, definitely, like, hit me up, leave a comment. The next book that I read was Black Water Sister by Zen Cho. This follows a young woman named Jess who graduates from college and is unable to find a job, and then she and her family move back to Malaysia, and she feels really out of place there because she grew up in America unlike her rest of her family, and she's also gay, which she hasn't told anyone else yet. Big mood. However, she hears a ghost one day, and it's the ghost of her ama. And her ama is like, hey, you gotta help me with this god business. There's this vengeful ghost named Blackwater Sister who's ready to fuck shit up because these shady businessmen want to tear down her shrine. And Jess is like, shit, okay, I guess. So she is wrapped up in family drama, in supernatural drama, all kinds of drama while she tries to solve the mystery of her Amma, the Blackwater sister, and the development that threatens to destroy the shrine. It was such a wonderful it was such a wonderful story for me because I really connected with Jess, because being queer and having to hide it from her Asian parents, being, you know, the American kid in like the Asian country, it's so relatable. And just the way like her mother and her Amma were written, I could like see like, shit, I can see my mom in there too. And I can just seriously relate to the way that Jess has to like deal with them and has to sort of like figure out her way to communicate with them, because that's like something that I have to do with my mom and my grandma and the rest of my Asian family all the time, is just trying to figure out how to communicate with them, but also like not at the same time hide like parts of myself. Even with my white family, they're just so weird. Stay true to yourselves, guys. Be as weird as you want, but just don't be weird at communicating, okay? Just communicate the best way you can, but try to communicate honestly, because there's like crazy shit going on everywhere. So I highly recommend Blackwater Sister. It was such a great read, and definitely portrayed like all these new different sides of Asia that I haven't seen before, such as Malaysia, which we don't really hear about that often, and all the different ways that Malaysia is different, but also I think kind of ways that is very similar to the United States in some aspects, like, you know, the development of, you know, modern buildings, modern skyscrapers, but then at the price of natural beauty, and then who are the ones paying for it, like paying the human cost of paying for it. So I think that's just I think that was really interesting to me, and it's taught me a lot. So I highly recommend Blackwater Sister. Pick it up at your local bookstore or library, like I did. So the next book that I read for the month of July, because I'm predictable and always up for some gay shit, is Flashfire, the sequel to The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune. This one I rated a 3-star. Not that it was bad, but because I wish there was more kissing in it and less talking. Because, of course, the main character with ADHD talks a lot. And because he talks a lot, he talks a whole lot and takes up a lot of space. And this isn't a very big book, but there's not enough kissing. There's not enough kissing in this book, and I wanted there to be more of it. Also, stuff happens, and I'm like, shit, should that have happened? I feel like we lost a lot of character development, but here we are. This is the way the story is going, and this is how it is going. Anyway, so look, Flashfire was a really sweet sequel to The Extraordinaries, and it follows Nick and Seth on their adventures, and I feel like I can't really say anything else about the plot because it's a huge spoiler at the end of the first book, so I'm not going to say anything else. Just for the most part, it was kind of like a, oh yeah, this is a cool sequel, you know, sequel for me. You know, some story decisions happened, and I'm like, I'm not a really big fan of the story decision, but I'm going to continue reading it because it really ended on a very interesting cliffhanger. And I want to see where it goes, and then if it goes in a way where I don't like it, then I'm like, well, you should have went with that character decision in the other book. And now I'm talking too much, and I'm fulfilling stereotypes. Also, there was just something about this book that was just, I mean, maybe it's because it's young adult, and it's for like, we're talking like teenagers, like actual teenagers, and I'm not an actual teenager. There's a lot of talking, but none of it really feels natural. It just feels like talking directly to the reader at some points, because there's this part in the beginning, because Nick's dad is a cop and one of his best friends is black, and of course her parents and his dad talk. This was very much written in 2021, you know what I mean? Look, I totally support ACAB and defund the police. I totally do. It's just the way that this particular book was written and how it talks about defunding the police topics. That was like very obvious, like not very subtle at all. And I'm like, okay, Grace, you know, this was written for young people, and so young people are very much probably like this, very much unsubtle. But this is like, this was very obvious stuff, and it's just very, I can't really explain better than how I'm explaining it right now, which is not very good. It was very woke. I hate to say that, but it just feels like a very woke book. And I was like, okay, we can tone it down. It's been 3 pages of woke stuff that I got a whole lot of last summer. And so it just didn't really feel very natural to me. The author is white, so like, I don't know if he's overcompensating. But anyway, all cops are bastards and defund the police, and it's very obvious here. So, but you know, if you like The Extraordinaries, then give this one a go, because it's the sequel and it was cute. It was cute. Could have been cuter if they talked less. Cute nonetheless. That kind of rhymed. Onwards and upwards. Speaking of getting very cute and gay, but we're going back to the Edwardian period, is... I'm sorry. The Queer Principles of Kit Webb by Cat Sebastian. As I said, set in the Edwardian period. Wait, I really hope I'm remembering what the Edwardian period. Set pre-Victorian. Set, I'm pretty sure it was the Edwardian period. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Set in the period where they wore wigs and stuff. Set in London during a historical period. We have a former highwayman named Kit Webb, as he is roped into shenanigans by Edward Percy, a lord who is trying to steal from his father because of some shit he did. And it gets real gay, and it gets real cute. And I'm like, shit, this is really cute. I think I was almost put off by it in the first quarter or so, because of course this is a historical period. They talk very historically. And I'm not very good with classics. Like, I crawled. Even though I love Pride and Prejudice, I like crawled through reading the book. The classical speaking, historical way of speaking was just sort of like, But this was really cute. Like, once you get into learning about the characters and learning about their personalities and the way that they speak, and then also you can kind of just try to figure out what they're saying, because they just say things in a lot of words. I absolutely loved Kit's and Percy's relationship. It was so cute. And then even you got like, it was like, the plot was like kind of obvious where it was going, but like, it was still fun to read. And so I do highly recommend Queer Principles of Kit Webb. It was a 4-star read for me. Really cute, really sweet, and just really goes to show that like, gays were everywhere, anywhere, and all the time. Here for it. So, I mentioned that I read a lot of manga. I also read some manga that I have talked about before, but I'm not gonna skip talking about those because I've already talked about it. Like, for example, I already talked about Spy Family. Volume 5 came out, I read it, I loved it, of course, and also the second volume of Sasaki and Miyano came out. I also mentioned that in a previous video. You can go check it out there. This one was also still really cute. But I'm going to be talking about other manga that I've read this month. And one of them includes Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard? ? By Yu Toyota. So, exactly as the title says, a young man named Adachi hits 30, which I guess doesn't make him that young anymore, but who cares? 30 is the new 20. And because he's been a virgin for 30 years, he gets the magical ability to be able to read minds whenever he touches someone. He ends up accidentally brushing into his colleague Kurosawa and finds out that he has a massive crush on Adachi. And Adachi's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it has all of the usual BL tropes, but it's still really cute and really funny. and I honestly can't wait to see like how the play of having the ability to read minds and also dealing with this crush at the same time. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so funny for me, like reading characters who are sexually inexperienced. It's just, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's true. Like, I just really want to figure out how they're gonna deal with this like romantic inexperience in the wake of like all of these massive romantic feelings. And that's basically what Adachi's dealing with right now. He's so romantically inexperienced, and then all of a sudden he's dealing with all of these romantic feelings from this guy that he admires, and he's like, shit, where is this gonna lead? And I'm like, same, where is this gonna lead, dude? So honestly, I really liked it. It was really cute and it was really fun. And honestly, I'm not looking for like big themes here. I'm not looking for some like big tragic backstory. I'm just looking for cuteness, and I'm looking for fun, and I'm looking for romance. Love is real. This is cute, and I do recommend buying it, and I do recommend checking it out. I think there's a drama, like a live action drama. I kind of want to check it out. It's probably gonna be bad, but it'll be a watch. I'll check it out. I'll find it. Because I'm like 98% sure that there was a live action drama. I'll find it. Anyway, go read this book. Oh, wait a second. Excuse me, wait a second. You thought I was only talking about the gays? You're right, I am still talking about the gays, but I'm talking about lesbians, and I'm talking about Superwomen in Love by Sometime. This is the first volume in a Yuri series in which a villainess meets a hero, and it's like, shit, she is my type. I'm gonna date her, and becomes her partner fighting evil. So cute. This was really cute, guys, and I really like the art style as well. Honestly, the supervillain, this is her, the former supervillain, she's kind of my type too. Like, this one is a very genki sort of sportsy fun girl. We kind of look the same, don't we? This one was also a really cute series, and I really like the art, so I'm gonna keep following this one, tell you how it goes. Cause like, we still don't get to see a whole lot here, but they're basically U-Haul lesbians. I mean, all of the lesbians that I read about are U-Haul lesbians. But I'm as you can see, I've been reading superhero stuff, and people love gay superheroes. So I'm gonna keep following, see what's up. But yeah, this is just really short because this is a pretty short volume, so I don't get a whole lot. But it's cute, and I'm gonna keep following it, and I'll keep you guys updated. The next book that I read in keeping up with the tradition of U-Haul lesbians is Beauty and the Beast Girl by Neji. This is a one-shot manga following a lonely monster in the woods and the blind girl who comes and finds her. And it's so cute. It's sort of, I was just so struck by it because it felt sort of like a Medusa type of thing, even though like the monster girl doesn't have the power of turning people into stone. But I always hear, like, you know, those Twitter stories about, like, oh, what if Medusa fell in love with a blind woman? And I'm like, same, that would be so cute. So I picked this up, and it was also super cute. Also very light in terms of romance, but if there's anything that strikes me the most, it's loneliness and monsters. What does that reveal about me? I'm not sure. But if you find yourself with this manga, then I highly recommend you give it a go. Really sweet, really cute, and super, super wholesome. Moving on to something a little bit less wholesome, a little bit more, not really sure what the kind of word is, but maybe I'll find it, and that is My Alcoholic Escape from Reality by Nagata Kabi. If you've ever seen these books, My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness and My Solo Exchange Diary, this is by the same author, a new autobiographic manga in which she chronicles her stay in the hospital from pancreatitis. And she also chronicles how her relationship with alcohol led to this moment, and how her relationship to alcohol has changed since, and what will she do with her life here, what will she do with her career. Honestly, I really enjoy Nagata Kabi comics for the particular reason is that there's a lot of raw honesty, because it is autobiographical, but she like really just lays it all out there, and it's just, you can't help but be struck by every word she says. And you also see how Japanese society sort of plays into the making of who she is as she is now, or at the very least as she is in the story, because a lot of it deals with like her parents, a lot of it deals with Japanese society as a whole, and really it shows like a one person's journey with their health, both mental and physical, how they've sort of fallen into these certain habits and how they deal with trying to come back out of it. I think most of us can learn how to deal with the, certain habits, how to make new ones, how to break harmful ones. So I learned a lot from this manga. And definitely, if you ever find yourself Nagatakabe comics, definitely recommend giving them a go. I definitely recommend her other works as well. My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness and her Solo Exchange Diary series. Definitely recommend. Highly recommend. And so, keeping in with the tradition of new habits and old habits, I read Blue Period by Tsubasa Yamaguchi, in which we follow a young man named Yatora, where he is like a super good student and super studious student, and he's like, if I study hard and I get into a good school, then all will be right, except I feel very empty inside and I don't know how to fill that void. And I'm like, same. So he ends up finding himself in the art room and finds this painting that touches him so deeply that he says, you know what, I'm gonna do art. I'm gonna try art. And he finds ways to connect with the people around him by expressing himself through art. And I was just so, I just became so emo after that. I think the thing that gets to me personally, just me personally, is that when the pandemic started, it was in the middle of my junior year of college. And in my spring semester of junior year, I took a intro to drawing class, and because I just really wanted to reconnect with something a little bit more visually artistic. I did a lot of drawing when I was little, so I wanted to try and get back to that again with this intro to drawing class. And then pandemic hit. I was having a lot of fun in that class, even though I felt like I was turning in a lot of assignments last minute, because the thing is that I just wanted to draw my own thing. I didn't really want to draw still lifes. So I think that's just me personally that gets to me, the fact that I missed out on a class that I really wanted to take in college. And so I'm just kind of vicariously living through this main character, Yatora, and how he wants to get into college. I'm getting so emo over this now. I want to go back to school. Anyway, I do recommend this manga. I understand that I read some reviews about it that some people are like, because the thing is that of course this is one of those manga that like when the main character is learning something, you learn along with him. So there's a lot of lessons about perspective, about shading, about drawing, about trying to draw still lives, and how artists learn, and how artists, all these different types of mediums, basically a lot of art lessons. Me personally, I really like the art lessons because I like learning new things, but some people are like, oh, there's like way too many art lessons and the personal stories gets kind of drowned out. But I do want to stick it out. I want to learn basically, I think, the stuff that I missed out on my intro to drawing class, and maybe I'll pick up a pencil again, practice some still lives alongside the characters. Honestly, that's just the way that makes me feel about it, because I think the reason why I connect with this manga so much is because of my personal circumstances regarding my personal relationship with school and drawing and art school in general. I went to an art school. I missed out on 1.5 years of it. And now I want to go back to school. Get vaccinated, please, so I can go back to school. Please. Oh my god. Anyway. The anime is coming out in fall. I'm definitely watching that. Please read this manga. Finally, we are at the last manga that I read in the month of July. We have covered the L and we have covered the G, and I think we've probably covered the B somewhere. Now we're on to the T, and that is Boys Run the Riot by Keito Gaku. This follows a trans boy named Ryo as he starts a fashion brand with the local fashion man, Jin. And of course, this deals a lot with, I think, what a lot of trans people go through, especially with their relationship to their gender, especially how gender expression is critical when it comes with clothing. Because Rio is AFAB and because everyone around him thinks he's a girl, he has to wear, you know, Japanese schoolgirl uniform. He has to deal with his mom trying to be like, hey, why are you dressing up all boyish? No boy's gonna like you if you're gonna dress up like a boy. That is definitely not something my own mother has said to me. I'm lying. It's definitely something that my own mother has said to me. Moving on. So, when a new kid shows up in his class named Jin, he's like, hey, Rio, I like your style. Let's start a fashion brand together and let's destroy people's preconceptions and let's stand out on our own. And with this fashion brand, we're gonna make it our own thing. And Rio's like, it takes him a while to like get convinced to do it, but he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna live my best life. We're gonna make clothes and we're gonna express ourselves through these clothes. You know, because clothes are so critical. I think that just really goes to show that like the tie-in with gender expression and clothing. I'm just there's just a lot of my own feelings coming out in this video. Like I just think about regrets and the things that like, you know, don't, like what's the point in being the nail that sticks out? Why not be the nail that sticks out if it means being happy? I'm getting so emotional today. I'm really looking forward to reading more of this manga. I'm really looking forward to see where Rio and Jin will go next, because I'm just really feeling a lot today. And I want to keep reading this story because they're making me feel a lot. Yeah, that's what books are all about. Making you feel things. Making you go on face journeys in coffee shops and wondering, shit, are people looking at me because I'm going on this face journey while reading this manga? Probably yes. But it's okay, because you're reading a really good book. I highly recommend this book. That is more or less all of the manga that I've read and books. All the books and manga that I've read in the month of July. I really sped through a lot of them because the thing is that I have read a lot of them. And the thing is that, like, you know, there's only so much I think you can get from one volume, especially depending on the size. So that's why I really think that, like, continuing with the series or reading the whole series, I think you can understand the depth of the story, the depth of the characters, and really the depth of everything that makes the story so good. So really, these are all just a lot of, like, first volumes, really good openings, and I'm definitely gonna keep catching up with all the rest of these and keep you guys updated about it. If there's any manga that you want me to read or like want my opinion on, I mean, I don't know if you want my opinions, but I think my opinions are pretty good. I hope you want my opinions. I mean, if you clicked on this video, then you wanted my opinion. If you want any more of my opinions, then feel free to leave a comment below on what books you want, manga you want me to read. Because the thing is, I'm very picky with manga in particular. A lot of it is like $12, $13. And then buying it is a lot of money when you pile it all up. Because these I bought, but not after a lot of scrutinizing and scrolling around through Goodreads and being like, is this something that I really want to buy? Because also the place that I shop at shrink wraps their books so you can't look inside. So it's kind of a little bit of a gamble. So far, no book has super failed me yet. So, if you want to check out any of these books, then I highly recommend you give these ones a go. Thank you so much for watching. Please also leave a comment below if I should retire this purple lipstick that now looks pink. Leave a like if you like this video. Ring the bell if you want to be annoyed all the time by your phone notifications. Subscribe? That'd be nice. Start a conversation in the comments below. Honestly, I love talking to people, even though I'm probably not super good at it. It'd be like that sometimes. Bye-bye! Wait, I can't reach. Okay, now I can. So if June is Pride Month and July is Wrath Month, then what's August? There's only 7 sins in 12 months. It's a lot of sinning. Hmm.